Welcome to our channel where
saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste.
So please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel.
my name's Greg Helton. My wife Corrine is behind the camera today, and today we are making you the perfect onion rings. These are just like A&W's. Okay, so for what you're going to need vegetable oil for cooking, deep frying, a pot to deep fry it in, a couple of bowls for the flour mixture and the cornstarch and stuff, a slotted spoon or something to pull your rings out. Large onions, at least 4 to 5 inches in diameter. You can use smaller ones, it's quite okay, but these ones are more preferred for large onion rings because they're better. So for your flour mixture, you're going to be using gluten-free flour. That's Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1, cornmeal, cornstarch, and that will go in a separate bowl. Then you got either seasonings, coriander, smoked paprika, chili powder, Italian seasoning, white pepper, you can use black pepper, it's quite fine, onion powder, and salt. So you are going to use Bob's Red Mill gluten-free flour. You can use other kinds. That's quite okay. You're going to have cornmeal, and then cornstarch will go into its own separate container or bowl for binder. For the spices for your flour mixture, you're going to use coriander, smoked paprika, chili powder, Italian seasoning. You can just use basil and oregano and thyme. You don't need rosemary at all. You got ground white pepper, or you can use ground black pepper just as fine. Onion powder, which if you don't want onion powder, you can omit any of these spices, but you also need salt. Salt is one of your key spices. You will also need something to cool them, drain them on. So I usually use a large 18 by 24 inch cookie sheet, and this is just basically a oven cooling rack. I stick in there and allow them to just sit on there. Okay, so for the buttermilk mixture, generally I go with the whole food or the milk, or whole milk. But if you are dairy free, California oat milk is extremely good. I mean, it's actually pretty good for someone who doesn't like dairy free milks. Silk is a soy milk. You want to get the original, not the flavor or the flavored like, vanilla or anything like that. Or you could go get it like Trader Joe's soy milk. But this is also your important thing is apple cider vinegar. You're going to need some of this to actually help curdle some of the milk up and get it all nice and thick. So we're going to first start by grabbing our gluten-free flour. Now the recipe that I made basically is 1/3 cornmeal, 2/3 gluten-free flour. So I'm going to do about 6 cups worth of flour. 2 cups. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the onion rings that I have been trying to perfect take me back to my childhood when I used to go to A&W restaurants to get those frosty mugs, and to me they have the best onion rings on the planet. And so this entire time I've been trying to emulate it. Because I went to tons of restaurants and a lot of them had like batter dip or just flour, and they were just never that great. So we're going to do about 3 tablespoons of salt. Actually, no, it's 4, that's right. 1 tablespoon of coriander. Paprika, you're going to need about 2 tablespoons at least. Oh, this one is small. Apparently, I need to go get more coriander or paprika. Going to need basically about a tablespoon almost of chili powder. Going to need at least 2 tablespoons of black pepper. I usually do about 3. You're like, that's a lot of pepper. Well, that's a lot of flour mixture. And one thing I learned about deep frying is you need a lot of spice to, adhere to the flavor. I'm going to do about 3 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of Italian seasonings. Let's put the little thingy-majiggy back on. And now for onion powder, do at least a tablespoon. Yeah. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon and a half. Okay, so we got salt, the pepper, and now I'm just going to mix this bad boy up. I'm using a whisk, so that'll just literally combine all the flour and stuff really good together. A lot of times I go by the smell too and how much I need to, what I need to mix. Whoop, hookers. Spilled that all over the place. Okay, now I'm not going to use all of this flour today, so this is why I grab a gallon Ziploc bag. I just call it Chick's Mix because I use the same thing for chicken nuggets, for mozzarella sticks, all sorts of stuff. Month and year. And I'll just go ahead and scoop majority of this into it. Keep this in your pantry. You'll have it ready to go at a moment's notice. Now, if you make this mixture and then you're finding that it's not that spicy, go ahead and mess with your spices. Add more salt. Okay, so we're gonna prep our onions. Like I said, like my hand's about 4.25 inch wide, and this baby's about 5 inches. You can use the smaller ones, but I find them not to make as good onion rings, and plus, you only get to use like 2 to 3 layers inside. This one, you're gonna be able to have multiple onion rings, and I'm only gonna chop these into about about a 1/2 inch slice. Slice out the bottoms. And these are large sweet onions, which are really good. So as you see, my thumb's an inch long, wide, so about a 1/2 inch. This is going to make several onion rings. And then the rest of these will go into the freezer for like soup stocks. Now, if you have one of those cool meat slicers, use them on that, and this goes way faster. So we'll get about another slice on this one. Get rid of that. Is there anything where we're going to need onions? Pop the middles out. Now you're wondering, why am I doing so much? Because I basically am going to make these and then store them in the freezer for later. And then you just go ahead and take them out and bake them anytime you want. And there is our pile of onions. Okay, for the cornstarch, it's pretty simple. Bowl, cornstarch. You should probably wear an apron when you're dealing with cornstarch because it could get everywhere. And since I just got a nice new Hawaiian shirt, I don't want to get anything on it. And just basically one container will most likely work for what I'm doing. This is Argo cornstarch. It's gluten-free, as you can see right there. So, and I like this because it's a really good one. It's very silky feeling on your hands. So that means it's really good. 100% cornstarch. We get this usually at Fred Meyer's for about $3.50, something like that. So this is a good one, 16 ounces. So go ahead and check them out. They also got recipes for like gravy on the back, how to cook with Argo. It's really awesome, so give them a try. And we'll set this aside and get the milk going. Okay, for the buttermilk mixture, I'm going to do about 2 cups worth of milk. Okay, about 2.5. Whole milk is better than skim. Trust me on that one. Okay, and we're going to do about 3 to 4 tablespoons of cider vinegar. So about 1.5 tablespoons per cup. As you see, I just poured that in there. Now I'm going to stir it. And as you see, it's already, you can feel it thickening up. You don't want it super, super thick. Okay, and we're going to let that set for a minute or so while the oil heats up. So now what we got our setup here, go ahead and mix your milk back up together because sometimes it will coagulate a little bit. So what we're going to do, just go ahead and throw your onions, some of them into your milk mixture. Okay, so we're basically going to throw them in there, throw it back in the milk, and then let it bury. Throw it in the cornstarch, throw it in the milk, and let it bury. Cornstarch. Oops, sorry about that on the camera lens there, camera person. Into the starch. Into the flour. Pour I do the rest of them. Undo those. I broke that one accidentally. Cornstarch, flour, cornstarch, buttermilk, flour, buttermilk, flour. And usually what I do if my fingers start getting too gooey, I just stick them in the flour and get that excess off. And I'm going to fill this pot about halfway up. Because once I start putting the onions in there and it's heated up, it's going to foam pretty good. And I also got a nice candy thermometer that I'm just going to go ahead and stick right here. That way I can monitor the heat. And then I'm going to basically put this on about a 7.5 or medium high. And then I'm going to let this start to get it going to where you can actually start seeing it. And this gets up to about 320 degrees. And then we'll start dropping onion rings. So I hope you guys can hear me because of the fan. Now, it's up to 325 degrees. So it takes about 12 minutes to get to 325. So we got the first batch ready. I'm not going to cook them very long. Just to cool off and give it a taste crunch. Because the time's basically 2 to 3 minutes. Now, if you're going to be eating them straight off the bat, you could probably give them about another 30 seconds. Oh, hot. And repeat process. Okay, make sure that when you're doing this, it's a setup process. You're going in a rhythm because you don't want your onion rings to be sitting in your flour mixture too long because they'll get dry. Those ones are experimentals. Because if they do, they'll start peeling off from the actual flour and the onion will separate. So you want to basically do a batch. As it's frying, throw yourself down another batch, throw those in the oil, and go back and forth.
cook these. I try to make enough to last for a while, but just in case someone had sneaky fingers. Hey, get back here with that. Fine, you can have it.